It was a day when the BORA-hansgrohe squad showed what has brought it so much success in this Tour de France: teamwork. The same teamwork that brought the UCI World Champion, Peter Sagan, his 3 victories in the race, brought the Slovak rider over today's Hors Catégorie climb safely while he recovers from injuries sustained earlier in the week, with Maciej, Bodnar and Daniel riding to bring the Maillot Vert to the finish. That teamwork also brought Rafał Majka into a strong position in the day's breakaway, with Lucas Posselberger and Marcus Berghardt jumping in the early break. After a day out in front, Rafał was still capable of fighting among the GC favorites with fresher legs than him to take 5th on the stage. Only an individual time trial stands between the riders and the traditional procession into Paris on Sunday. The stage, the last, and potentially most important, proper road stage for the GC riders, would also be the most difficult. Starting in the holy town of Lourdes, some of the riders would be asking for some divine intervention to get through the day. This 200.5 kilometers monster of a stage featured 6 categorized climbs, 2 of which were Hors Catégorie, with the others being a mixture of short and sharp or long and draining. Dominating the profile, the Col du Tourmalet would be the day's hardest climb, with its average gradient of 7.3% and 17.1 kilometers length, starting gently before throwing riders into gradients of up to 10%. However, coming a little before the midway point, the Tourmalet could be too early to do anything other than tire out the riders, and with the second category Col des Borders just before the final HC climb, the Col d'Aubisque, there could be a late attack here ahead of the descent to the finish in Larens. The team tactics on what some would regard as the Queen stage, and without doubt one of the hardest stages of the Tour de France, the stage would be made all the more difficult by all of the GC teams wanting to get one of their riders in the break. It would be difficult, but the aim would be to work to enable Rafał Majka the opportunity to escape and then to take the chances that came his way. For Peter Sagan, the aim would again be to get through the day. This difficult stage would be draining on many riders in the peloton, not just the UCI World Champion, and the BORA-hansgrohe team would be working with him to pace him over the big climbs and provide moral support as he recovered from the heavy injuries he sustained on stage 17. The race, the peloton was keeping a close eye on who it was going to allow to escape today, but in spite of this, the Austrian national champion, Lucas Posselberger, and 2 others managed to sneak away almost from the drop of the flag. The peloton reacted to try and draw them back in, but in doing so allowed other riders to make their move and bridge to the break, while also splitting the bunch itself, resulting in 3 groups on the road in front of the peloton. 2 BORA-hansgrohe riders, Lucas and Marcus Berghardt, were ahead, and were soon joined by Rafał Majka, who pushed hard with 2 others to bridge over to the escape. At this stage, the gap between the front and the peloton was more than 5 minutes, and on this pivotal stage, this substantial advantage couldn't be allowed to stand in the GC team's work to bring it down. Staying at the front, Rafał reached the summit of the Col du Tourmalet in good shape and looked confident as the race neared the Col d'Aubisque, the last categorized climb of the race. The mountain mist drew in, and as the Maillot Jaune group worked to bring in the break, 2.5 kilometers ahead of the summit of the Col d'Aubisque, Rafał attacked, holding off the GC leaders just a little longer, but they were pushing too hard to allow the Polish rider to stay out in front on the downhill. However, this didn't stop him fighting it out in the finale, taking 5th on the line. In the gruppetto, Daniel and Maciej Bodnar sacrificed themselves for the UCI World Champion, Peter Sagan, ensuring he stayed within the time limit, ready to ride another day. Results: 01 Roglic 5 hours 28 minutes and 17 seconds 02 G. Thomas 0:19:03 R. Bardet 0:19:05 R. Majka 0:19 from the finish line. Today, once again we had a really hard stage. I felt well and I tried again. My legs have been recovering during the last week and I have been attacking a lot and did my best. It's a pity I missed the win today, but I am also happy about my condition. Today, I was back at my best. addition to the crashes in the first week, I think the pressure I put on myself for the GC could have been a bit too much. I'd like to thank my teammates for the support they provided, and we have Vuelta coming, where we will be with a good squad. Rafał Majka, it was probably one of the most painful and difficult days I have ever had in my cycling career. The injuries and the heat made this last mountain stage of the Tour de France seem never-ending. I couldn't have abandoned though. We are so close to Paris, it wouldn't have been fair to me and the rest of the team. I had to fight. I'd like to thank all my teammates for their sacrifice today, for being there with me all 200 kilometers of the stage. This is what teamwork is about. Peter Sagan, UCI World Champion. It was really close today in the end for Rafał. We hoped for the win, but even if we didn't take it, there is nothing we could have done any better. I am very proud of all the boys today. Rafał was really focused, and he almost got it. But Lotto Jumbo was really strong, and without their move, Rafał would have been the winner. But that's cycling, they played their cards well and deserved to win. Still, it was good to see Rafał back at his best. In the back, it was a real battle for Peter to survive. He took on the fight, made it to the finish, and this feels like a victory today because Peter was in an awful condition. All our guys supported him, and I think we showed great team spirit. Enrico Poichki, sports director.